Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you here. Today I'm going to be talking through our new cycle. This is going to be our CrossFit Open cycle. So this will obviously take us through the CrossFit Open, which is going to be 3 weeks. We will be testing it. They're announced the Thursday evening, but we will do them in classes as well as Friday Night Lights, which is kind of a variation off classes, but not a true class, where we're going to do that. The first workout will be March 1st, second one will be March 8th, and the third one will be March 15th. So 3 week consecutive Fridays back to back. Taking us through the first half of March. So our first week in this cycle was actually the week of February 17th. That week, we will sort of have that as an introductory period to kind of getting into the new rhythms of this cycle. And then also on February 21st, which is the Friday before the open actually starts, we will do an open workout to sort of simulate what you're going to experience, right? Obviously not the same, environment or intensity necessarily, but it's still maybe the types of formats that you would see. We'll retest an open workout, and that way people can get a bit of exposure to that. Again, if you're not familiar with what the open is, it's a worldwide event that everybody in a CrossFit affiliate across the world, they actually don't even have to be an affiliate, but anybody across the world can do and submit their scores, and you could compare that way. And us, Lumber Capital Athletics, is also going to be having a in-house competition throughout the open and based off the open. So that is going to be $20 to register, and that will be a way for people to have that friendly camaraderie, rivalry type thing going on, frenemies type stuff, as well as we'll be giving away some prizes and just having people be encouraged to be competitive in a fun way. So our top 3 prizes are going to be 1, some training shoes. So whatever somebody wants within reason, we'll make sure that we order you some new training shoes. 2 will be a custom jump rope from Lumber Capital Athletics with our branding and stuff on it, an RPM rope. And then 3rd, we got some Zor gymnastics grips. So some cool stuff. And the rankings are actually going to be based off of, 1 will actually be your workout scores. So obviously that's an important part of it, but it's not all of it, right? It's just a piece of the puzzle. We're also going to be doing it based on dress and participation. Each of our 3 weeks of the open will have a theme. Preferably people are coming on to Friday night nights because that's when people are really going to get after it, have some fun, dress up, have a good time, and do a potluck, eating and drinking and having a blast afterwards. So I also encourage people just to hang out, watch other people do their thing, right? Cheer them on, because also part of it here, the 3rd item, so is workout scores, dress and participation. 3rd is the spirit award. We're going to give one of these each of the 3 weeks of the open to basically the person that we find is creating the atmosphere and the camaraderie that we're looking for in our gym. So that's probably pretty self-explanatory, and that's going to be picked by the coaching staff. And then 4 is going to be best dressed, and this is going to be voted by you guys, the members, and it's based on each of our themes. I think the themes are the circus is week 1, week 2 is anything but clothes, and week 3 is Viva Las Vegas. So you can take that whichever way you want. But people have fun with it. So if you want to sign up for that, I will link to it below in the description. Check it out. It's also just on the website under shop, I believe. So that being said, that open is here basically. So that will be a big part of this cycle that we've got coming up, but it's going to extend past that as well. So anyway, it's going to be again starting on the week of February 17th. Let's run through sort of what a week could look like and just sort of get the rough skeleton, the bare bones, so to speak, as to what I'm thinking about as I actually write these workouts. So day number 1, Monday, we're going to start off with some push-pull quality focused work. So things that are more strength or skill-based, that is a relatively low fatigue environment relative to rounds for time or an AMRAP or something like that, right? So really simple example of this, the 17th, we have a 10-minute EMOM. The odd minutes, we're going to be doing 4 to 7 bench presses. On the even minutes, you got 15 seconds of max ring muscle ups or a supinated strict pull-ups. Okay, so pulling reps, some pressing reps, and flip-flopping back and forth between those two, where you'll at least have 2 to 1 or more of rest relative to work. So at least twice the amount of rest. So, and that's going to allow the quality to stay pretty high. So push-pull quality focused work. And then our workout of the day will be MGW, so monostructural gymnastics weightlifting, each of our 3 movement categories. So think moving your own body weight, moving external load, and then probably doing something that is cyclical, so like bike, row, run, something along those lines. So those are our big 3 movement categories, and I want to make sure that they're showing up. And it was probably less barbell based in this one, so it'll probably be dumbbell, kettlebell, med ball, other things that can weight the person besides a barbell, because we're probably often going to have that on the Tuesday. So for that, we're also probably going to make sure that we're incorporating an erg most of the time, because again, we have a lot of erg work on Thursday. We're going to keep that in there. So we need to make sure that if Tuesday's more barbell based, we're probably going to not do that. So it's like, okay, if we don't want it on Wednesday, we got to put it on Monday. So that's kind of what I do in the back end. It's just really kind of shuffling things around, making sure it works and fits, where you're not doing, air biking or rowing 3 days in a row, right? Just making sure that things are as spread out as reasonable. So that's Monday. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have strength-based squatting, and this is often going to be a front squat, but we're often not going to use a rack for it. So oftentimes if we're doing front squats or back squats, obviously you're going to take it out of the rack. In this case, we're going to do complexes, but we're usually going to take it from the floor. So you'll do a clean into your front squats, for example. A good example of this would be our first Tuesday, February 18th. We got every 2.5 minutes for 5 sets, 1 power clean plus 5 front squats. You're building up to a tough set. So simple, but still reinforcing the correct positions for cleans when we're actually catching weights, but then it's still very leg intensive work, which is the goal of sports, being more of a squat cycle than an Olympic lifting day, if that makes sense. And then we're not going to have that exact same format every week. It'll vary a bit, and we will make sure that at least twice in this week, this cycle, that like 6-week cycle, that we do back squat at least twice. Just to keep a touch on. And that's one of the things I try to do, is keep maintenance doses of other things as we push up certain qualities. So that's the strength through the day, more front squat related, often not using a rack. And then Metcon will be more lower centric. So often in previous cycles, we've done more things that are lower centric on like a Monday, and then like a Tuesday would be more of like a gymnastics based day, or body weight or erg based things that are less hip or knee centric, like driven things, right? So like not doing like squats and deadlifts as frequently on Tuesdays as we have been on Mondays. So this cycle, I flipped that around intentionally, just in case people are getting in on Tuesdays most of the time. We want them to at least every once in a while get a squat cycle in, so they continue to improve. So yeah, that Metcon for the day is going to be some, again, lower centric, and then like more of a power output type feel. Whereas Mondays will be often a little bit more, I don't want to call it sustainable, but it will be relative to maybe Tuesday, a little bit more repeatable. And then Wednesday, we're going to do some hinging work. We're going to make sure this is like hinge repeatability type training. So hinging, think of like deadlifts, think of like maybe lighter snatches. We're doing like touch and go reps. Again, bending over at the waist, right? Hinging. We're often going to have things that are, again, batteries sort of implying that it's relatively hard work, but it's for a short period of time, and then you rest for a short period of time and repeat it. So we're going to have, for example, on this first day, some 3 touch and go deadlifts. You're going to be going every 40 seconds. So very short rest. And then you're going to do that 5 times. You'll rest 2 minutes, and you're going to repeat that 3 total times. And each of the sets is going to climb in weight. So basically, you got 45 total deadlifts, but they're kind of chunked into these more dense sets of work, so that you're going to kind of, again, push that quality forward to be able to do more repeatable sets of deadlifts and workouts. Is sort of the idea behind that. And then on this day, we're going to do some things that are, let's call it like extended intervals with systemic muscular endurance. So the idea here is that it's challenging the muscle's ability to continue to work, obviously muscular endurance, but then you're doing that in a way that's sort of rotating it around the body. It's not just staying on one muscle group the entire time. So it's still challenging the muscles, but it's a way where it's continuing to shift as you're going through the piece of work, where you're not just standing there and staring at the wall to do your next handstand push-up or something. So the idea being it's challenged, but it's not so much that it creates a big bottleneck and people are forced to stand there and just sort of rest until they're ready to go again. So again, those are the types of things that are going to translate really well to open type workouts, but without the same level of fatigue that you might associate with like an open workout. Thursday, again, typically a lower day in the gym. We're not usually doing heavy strength training on this day. We're not usually typically doing things that are going to beat up the joints a lot. We're going to try to leave the gym feeling better than we walk in. So we'll basically be flip-flopping. Odd weeks, we'll be doing things that I'm calling aerobic intervals. Even weeks will be more like zone work that's only erg based. So let me give you 2 examples of this. It'll make a little bit more sense. March 24th week, and I don't program all of these cycles at once. I just have elements of it built out, by the way. This is 10 rounds, 130 on, 30 seconds off. The odd ones will be 15 calorie air bike and max box step ups. The even ones will be 18 calorie row, max single unders. So relatively lower power output movements, not super dynamic, not going to beat you up much, but still a very good aerobic dose. And then our other one, the rotating zone work, a good example of that would be from the week of March 17th. We got 2 rounds of 60 to 70% effort. And this is supposed to be pick a pace that you could do for 45 to 60 minutes. Okay, so like a 60-minute time trial type feel to it. 2 rounds, 4-minute row, 4-minute air bike, 4-minute of shuttles. Simple, effective work there. Again, really good at keeping your driving up your base level of fitness without beating you up much. And then again, Friday is going to be typically the open workout or something that very closely resembles that. Once we get through the open, which will basically be the very tail end of this cycle, we'll probably add back in a bit of strength work on that Friday. However, for the most part, you're going to be seeing that consistent sort of theme of like a little bit less volume, but there's one workout and you like really get after it and like see what you can do on it. So yeah. And lastly, I'll say that during the open, the name game workout, which is our open gym workout for Saturday, will be temporarily put on hold, and I will be waiting to program the actual workout until we see what comes out on the open. So I don't know what the open workouts are going to be. Once they're announced on Thursday night, I'll put a plan together and a warm up for Fridays. Again, both the AM that will run as a 60-minute class, the 5:30 AM, the 9 AM, and then for the evening classes, there will be no traditional class. It'll be heats of Friday Night Lights. So we might have like a 5:30s, and 6 p.m., and 6:30 p.m. likely heats, right? So we have maybe 3 to 4 heats running throughout the evening, and that will have like a warm-up on the board that we post. And that way you know how to basically prep yourself to be ready to go, similarly like we would do for a class. However, we're not actually having a coach lead you through that. It's your job to move through that. And then again, the Saturday workout after the Friday open workout will be written by me after we've actually seen what that workout will be. I'm going to put things into the Saturday workout that just frankly, like you didn't see on Friday, right? Like making sure that you are actually fresh and ready to handle what's coming your way. So if you do a bunch of deadlifts on Friday, you're not going to see deadlifts again on Saturday. Simple things like that you guys would all understand. So there you have it. That's the new cycle that's coming up starting February 17th. See you there.